This is a video for installing the pump, the fuel pump in this for this motor. Um, I built this motor, it's fully built. Now the fuel pump is not powerful enough to drive this motor. Unfortunately, I already started to remove the pump, so I'm going to show you where I'm at and how it's going to end up and how to reinstall it in the car. Okay, like I've said, this is the pump I have. It's the Aeromotive 11142, and the stock pump I have is not the same. As you can see, the pump is a little bit shorter than the one I have, longer, sorry. And as you can see, there is a difference. And there is two clips here that the pumps that was fitting here. I cut all these clips, and now it doesn't hold anymore with the stock clips, but I needed to modify this to be able to put the pump all the way in there, so it could be installed at the same length as the other one with its with the fuel strainer. I had to cut all these parts here. I've cut out all this and this, cut out part of this because there is enough room for the head to go further in. So I cut out all this to make sure that when I install the pump, it's gonna go all the way in like this. It has to go there. So when the stock pump was installed, it was like this. So as you can see, it's the same height, and the fuel strainer will work now. It won't hit the bottom of the tank, which is this tank here, and this is going into this, and it fits all together. This is my old fuel strainer. The fuel strainer goes on this, like this. Sorry, like this. So this way everything fits. Now, the only problem by cutting the clips and everything, so I cut all this, cut out this. This was full here, and there was a part that was going over the pump, so it was fitting nice and snug, sorry, and there was some clips here that was holding the pump in place. Now that I've cut the clips because they were in the way of the pump, I'm stuck with a big problem. This pump now doesn't have anything to hold it in place, and there is 50 psi at the end of this nozzle here, so it will come out very easily, and you don't want that because you're going to lose pressure and your car will stall. Now the pump doesn't fit well, so it's not going high enough, and my fuel strainer, this thing here, is sitting too low and is hitting the bottom of the bin that I have that's inserted into this. It's way too low, and I don't want it to sit that low because I'm afraid that with vibration this strainer will be damaged and I won't have a filter anymore. So I have to cut a little bit more plastic to be able to put the pump a little bit higher. So I'm gonna cut the plastic right now. Okay, this is the final assembly of everything. So I'm gonna assemble the pump. So I need these screws here. Let me check to make sure I didn't forget. No, that's good. And I'm gonna put the red Loctite on all my bolts to make sure that they don't go off on me while I'm driving. So a little bit of red Loctite. That's a bit too much. Okay, next thing to do. Now you see the pump is in place. It's all the way in here. Everything's okay. Now I can let this dry for all night. Now that my pump cured overnight, I had it up yesterday. I didn't put the screw in, and I didn't feel secure, so I put the lock screw in and make sure that they were very, very tight, so this way they don't get undone in the car, because you really don't want the pump to lose your pump, sorry. And I checked all my bolts to make sure that they are still very well glued in place and they cannot get undone. So now I'm ready to put it in the I have to put this thing back here, but before that I'm going to install the wire back. This is the wire that came with the pump. So this thing is plugged in, and it has to, there is some place where it was supposed to go, but I think it's not there anymore. So anyway, this thing has to go there to ground the regulator. I think it's a safety of some kind that prevents statics from making the gas catch fire. So this is the way it's gonna pass. And then, so I'm ready to install this thing here. It has two springs. And it is going okay. Now it's in. Now the last part is this thing here. It's going in there, and there is an O-ring. Don't forget to put the O-ring. And this thing is going like this in there. It's clipping in there, and this is what is bringing the gas. This thing is the exit of the fuel pump. It's going to your fuel rail. Okay, now you have to plug in this right there, and you have one more O-ring to put in. Is this one here? No, that's not the right one. It's the green one. The green one here. So I'm gonna bend this a little because I think it's gonna get in the way when I'm getting in, and after that it's gonna get into its place. So now it's time to put everything back together. So this thing has to go. You see there is a hole in the bottom. This thing has to go there. This is what I was fighting for at the beginning. So if everything is okay, it should go in quite easily. Much better, much better. Okay. As you can see, you have to put back the wire into this. And there is a place also for your fuel gauge. It's all in. Now, ready to test. We have to see if it works. As you can see, we are inside my car, ready to install the pump. And I suggest that you wear these gloves to make sure that at least nothing happens to your hands, because this thing is really sharp on the side here. And we're ready to put the pump back in. So I'm gonna make sure you're not dropping anything into the tank. So this thing has to turn. It's facing this way. you have to push this in and make sure that the rubber is well installed and the pump is going in nicely. So now I see that my rubber is perfect. The only thing you have to do is to screw in the pump. It's easier to remove than install. Okay, now it's solidly installed. I have to be careful with these connection because sometimes they are old and they can break on you easily. Make sure you have a good connection. Next, you have to connect in the fuel pump. And there you go, folks, you're ready to test. Okay, next thing is to go in the car, put the key in, turn the ignition on, off. You hear the pump each time starting for a few seconds. And third time. With this, I wanted to see if I had pressure. So I don't have any pressure on my gauge. That's not good. I'm gonna test it out anyway. So just want to make sure that in the back of the car in this thing here, I don't have any fuel leaking. So no leak is good. So as I said, the removal of the pump is the same thing as the install. I'm gonna open my garage door and try to start the car. Hey, now that I finished my intake and the fuel pump is done, I've got really good pressure. I got more pressure than I thought. Before I had 50 psi on my gauge, now I've got 60, which is plenty for this car. And the next video is going to be the dyno session, and I will show you the dyno session for it.